The actor's art. What can it teach you about public speaking? A great actor can break your heart at 50 feet. So said the poet Auden. And if there's a quote about acting worth knowing for public speaking, that is it. As an actor, Leaphia Darko brings the tools and techniques of the theater to the world of business. Everyday professionals in all industries speak in meetings, presentations, pictures, lectures, and keynotes. These are all performances and they need the exact same skills that go into a dramatic presentation. In this education section conducted by EIY Public Speaking and Professional Development and our guest speaker, Leaphia Darko, we are going to address her public speaking journey, how the skills she learned as an actor transfer, including actors understand the presentation art, actors know how to move an audience, and actors can externalize thoughts and feelings. Hello, Leaphia. Welcome to our show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Leaphia. The first question that I would like to ask you is that what are the correlations between acting and public speaking? How can you see it is connected to each other?
So with acting and public speaking, the thing they have in common is essentially the connection you have with the audience and you telling a story to that audience in the most effective, but in the most emotionally open and engaging way possible. I think where they differ is that as an actor, you're trained to then do that in a way which is really different from you. Maybe you have to change your accent or walk differently or wear completely different clothes to who you are. And in public speaking, at least with my clients, where I stop is the point where we've achieved this sort of clarity through technique and the client has gotten confidence that those techniques provide. So then there's this whole other section, which as an actor you deal with, which is about then moving away from yourself, which when you're speaking in a business context, you really don't want to go into. You want to turn up as you, like as the best version of you. So yeah, does that answer the question?
Okay, can you summarize in maybe 2 or 3 points that the correlation between public speaking and acting so that we can catch your idea? As I understand correctly, the first point is that you deliver emotion. That is
Yes.
the correlation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the storytelling and the sharing of your emotional connection to the information is the same. So as an actor, maybe I'm doing that with Shakespeare or something or for a TV drama, but as a business professional, you could do it with quarterly results. You can convey the emotional attachment you have to those numbers, and that's going to make everything you say incredibly engaging. People aren't going to turn up and say, why didn't you send this to me in an email? They're going to be like, wow, that was such a great keynote, or I'm glad I turned up to that meeting. So you want to focus on the emotions behind the facts and figures, and making sure you have a technique in place so you can consistently make that emotional connection with the audience. And those are the two key similarities between the way you think of public speaking as an actor and the way it maybe transfers in the business world.
I see. So the first one is about emotion, and the second one is about storytelling. That makes that makes public speaking and acting are correlated to each other.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Is acting public speaking, Livia?
Yeah, in part, you pay a lot of attention to your voice. You want it to support you emotionally.
Mm,
There are many types of acting, right? When you're acting on stage, you have to be aware of people right at the back. And so sometimes you have to make things a little larger than life. Otherwise, if you say things the way you do in life, no one reads them at all. Whereas
mm,
in the theatre, if you say things a little larger than life, then it reads as realistic, which is funny, but true. Whereas if you're acting on screen, because the camera is right close to you, you don't really need to be that big. So then you use your voice differently. And then if you do voiceover work or video game work or radio plays, you have to use your voice differently again because people don't have an image to go with the story. So you have to use your voice to tell them you're running, or you're in an open field, or you're in a tiny space, because they can't visually see it. So you have to learn to use your voice to sell that message as well. So there are many kinds of like voice work that you would do as an actor, which is part of the fun of the job. But yeah, it just means that public speaking to us is, once we have this basic foundation of technique and an instinct to emotionally connect, we are then doing these other different things with them, which is a bit different from how you would use those skills in a business setting once you've learned them.
I see. So if I understand you correctly, you mean that voice is part of acting, and that's why that acting is public speaking.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I see. How about body language, Livia? Body language, like the way you use your face, hand, eyes.
Yeah. So as actors, yeah, we think about that a lot. What kind of character you're playing? Are they a very powerful person? Are they not? And we would want to alter our body language
Mm,
accordingly.
mm,
Also, maybe depending on the time period you're in, or all sorts of different things would influence the way your character moves.
mm,
There are aspects of that I would do with my business clients, but it would be more focused on them looking powerful and authoritative. So the things that you might do as an actor if you were playing a powerful character, it's more that I would focus in on, because that's going to be the most relevant thing. And you can take a really valuable piece of information and alter your body language, and it
mm,
lands with your audience in a whole new, completely different way, which is much
mm,
more effective without you having to work any harder. You've just changed the body language slightly so that
mm,
you read as more powerful whilst you say that thing. And yeah, that's something that business clients find very useful.
mm. Can you give an example of voice and also body language that represent public speaking?
Cool. So it's as in like something that um, would be particularly useful to someone in a business context that wants to do public speaking. Um, so I would say something to keep in mind is resonance with the voice. So sometimes my clients will say they've been in a meeting and they've been trying to get a point across and they feel like they're shouting, but
Mm,
people in the meeting are like, I can't hear you.
mm,
Um, that's about the resonant spaces in your body not being used
mm,
effectively. Um, so resonance is essentially what helps you project your voice, but without
mm,
you straining your voice. And again, it's about being effective. So you can say the same thing in the same way with very little physical effort. But if you have worked on your resonance, your message travels really far. And it's good to do because even if you're in a situation where there's a microphone, the
mm,
technique gives you confidence. So your confidence reads as authority and it all pays off. So you look more powerful when you speak and your message
mm,
travels further. In terms of body language, a quick thing to keep in mind is about the shoulders and the upper body. Like when we're feeling nervous or shy, we can tend to close in.
mm,
But something that reads as powerful is if you lift the sternum, so like from the collarbone upwards, and try and keep your shoulders out, almost if you're
mm.
wearing a cape, like a superhero, as funny as it sounds. And that's a very simple trick that conveys a lot more power very quickly.
Gotcha. So that is the confident body language, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to those people that who would like to pursue public speaking and presentation skills, do you encourage them to study acting as part of public speaking in order to master this skill or not?
No, not particularly. Because the real difference between the way you would use public speaking in business and in acting is
Mm,
transforming into another character. And
mm,
whereas I'm getting paid to transform into someone for a living, I'm not getting paid to be myself. The magic behind thought leaders in a business environment is that they are being themselves. They are being open, they're being honest, they have provided their backstory, and they're mixing that with the expertise they have, and that is their secret weapon. So it's not necessarily something that I feel would be hugely beneficial, because all they would be learning is stuff that I wouldn't advise them using, because it's about them not being themselves. But there are different complementary things I would recommend, because they enhance physicality that will help you become a really good speaker. So things like Tai Chi and Qi Gong are great because they help you work with the breath, which is essential for public speaking. And they help you find a low center of gravity, which is essential in coming across as powerful and authoritative when you speak.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing to do, for example. Yoga is quite a good thing to do, because in terms of resonance, which we spoke about earlier, you need to have a lot of space inside the body, and yoga helps you stretch out. So that's a good thing to do. You really do open up a lot of resonant spaces, and you work with the breath as well in yoga in quite a dynamic way, especially with Ashtanga and Vinyasa. Alexander technique is good for alignment. It's something that a lot of actors do. I know a lot of musicians and other people do it as well in the arts, and it's about how to use your body effectively without physical strain, and that would work well. So if you're giving a keynote, how do you not look tense and stuff like that? But yeah, acting directly, I don't know that that's hugely going to help, really.
I see, got you. So it's not necessary to study it's not necessary to study acting in order to match the public speaking skill, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I see. There's a point that I found very interesting in your sharing is that you said acting, if you utilize it so much, you make use of it, maybe it changes who you really are. How do you interpret that sharing?
So say that again for me.
Okay, yes, just a few minutes ago, you said that if we utilize or we make use of acting so much, it may change who you really are in public speaking. It may change your style. How do you interpret that sharing?
So like what I meant by it, I guess, was because we all act in everyday life. In everyday life, we communicate slightly differently with different people. And it is, in a way, good, even in a business context, to be aware of who you're talking to and find a way to build rapport that is unique to them,
Yeah.
and then communicate from that standpoint. So it's positive in that sense. But as an actor, your main priority is, how do I take what I do, the way I talk, the way I move, the way I say things, and how do I take the character in this play or this, TV show, who's completely different to me, and become that completely different person. Whereas, because as a business person, the thing that because most people in your industry, after a certain point, are going to have your expertise. Yeah, not everybody, but when you get to a certain level, other people at that level will also have maybe similar insights. So the thing that would make me come to person A instead of person B is that person A sharing their story with me, which is intrinsic to who they are, rather than person A going, I've gone and learnt to be someone completely different to who I am. Do you know what I mean? And that's, I think, what I meant by acting literally as a professional actor. What I'm doing is learning to change who I am so that I can play a character. Whereas when you're utilizing these public speaking techniques as a business person, you really want to use them to accentuate who you already are. And that's what's going to make you more powerful, more successful. You taking established industry knowledge, but adding your own personal story to it, which will then make those insights unique. Does that clarify?
Yeah. I think that
Yeah,
your answer really makes sense to
cool,
us
cool.
and to me as well, because I totally agree with you, Livia. Because in business nowadays, authenticity is really important, and if we use acting in order to change who we really are, and people don't recognize the true self of us, then they don't trust in our personality. So
Exactly.
yeah, so I
Exactly.
think that we use acting just like a tool to empower who you really are, not to change who you are.
Yes, exactly.
Mm,
It's
I see, got you.
yeah.
So, how can you use acting to develop your public speaking skills, Olivia?
Well, I would say it's about the techniques behind it.
Mm,
So, like I
mm,
say, the part that's about transforming
mm,
into someone else, I don't know that that's so helpful. But the
mm,
part that is about learning how to use your body to communicate effectively and to emotionally connect, that's
mm,
extremely useful. So, it would be about um, finding ways um, to coach yourself physically so that
yeah.
even when you're nervous, even when you're being watched, you feel comfortable, you feel at ease,
Mm,
and you're able to focus on the people you're talking to. Um, this is something I've been working with my clients a lot on lately. Just this idea that a lot of times nerves are about when you're speaking, you look at yourself instead of the audience. So when you're speaking, you're maybe thinking, how do I look, how do I
mm,
sound, instead of going, how does the audience feel, what's connecting with the audience. And when you're focusing on the audience and your attention is outwards and on them, you become a lot less nervous, and therefore you're a much more powerful speaker. And that's
mm,
a big principle in acting that I think transfers really well, for example. So it's things like that. It's the techniques that allow you to be physically free and emotionally open so that you
mm,
can connect with your audience. Those are the techniques that I
mm.
think are best focused on.
Liva, sometimes that I agree with you that the technique you just said to us that you may want to focus on your audience instead of yourself so that you can be less nervous.
Mhm.
And I think that technique was working for me. But I have a question here is that because sometimes if you navigate your nervousness to your audience, it means that instead of focusing on yourself at that time, you know that you are nervous and you just think about your audience. Do you think that that is the way for us to navigate our nervousness to another type of target rather than that you just really face and accept that your nervousness is happening right now?
Yeah, that's a really great way of doing it, I think.
Mm,
You simply go, well, I'm feeling nervous, and that's okay. Nerves are
mm,
really about going into a situation that you haven't been in before.
mm.
To a greater extent or a lesser extent, it's a new situation, and
Mm,
at the other side of that situation
mm,
lies growth. And so, actually, nerves are really about you approaching
mm,
a growth opportunity. So
mm,
they're not an altogether bad thing, but the way to stop them dominating the speaking engagement that you have is exactly as you
mm.
say, to go, okay, they're here, and I just accept they're here. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. I'm not going to shame
Yeah.
myself for this. And then
Mm,
you get back to the audience and connecting with the audience. And, the audience, the two things to remember, I think, here are the audience doesn't know the perfect
mm.
version of the speech you have in your head, because that's
Sure.
also another thing. It's like you think it has to go this way, this way, this way.
Yeah,
The
only you
audience
know that.
know, and that the audience are almost like ticking off, yes, you did this, yes, you did that.
Mm,
The audience
mm.
don't know the perfect
Yeah.
version of the speech. They only know the version of the speech you give them. So if you do it in a connected way,
Mm,
they're gonna be happy with it either way.
mm,
The only way they won't be is if you communicate, oh, it wasn't good. Then they
mm,
start going, oh, why it wasn't good, or why,
mm,
Um, but the more you can just make peace with the fact you're nervous, and it's easier said than done. The more you're going to open yourself up to
mm,
you know powerful speaking.
mm. Is there any techniques in acting that we can use in order to face with our anxiety in public speaking, Livia?
The main one is focusing on the person you're talking to. And
Mm,
I guess as an extension of having said that, it's
mm,
this idea that you can't provide 100%
yeah.
of a successful speech or
Mm,
meeting, right? You really are only providing 50% of it, and the people
mm,
that come are invited to bring themselves to it too. And where you get the most powerful public speakers, they understand this and they actually proactively leave room for the audience
mm,
inside of what they're saying. This can either literally be with like questions that aren't just rhetorical, they're questions that they actually ask where they're actually inviting the audience to literally answer them, or in their head to actually take a moment to like really consider them. Or it can
mm,
just be in a kind of generosity of spirit, like in general their whole focus is on giving value to the audience rather than speaking at the audience, and the
mm,
audience understands this, and the audience then almost literally like leans in because they're so eager to engage with what's being said because they feel so welcomed by the speaker. And I think when you take the pressure off yourself to provide 100% of the entertainment value of, if you like, of the speech,
yeah.
you've lowered the stakes and therefore you've put yourself at ease as well.
Mm. So you mean that we put pressure on, we don't really put pressure on ourselves in order to perform the speech, and we accept that the audience is here. So that is one of the ways that we can face with anxiety in public speaking, right?
Yeah, and that you need them, that
Mm,
they're not just there, that they're an essential part of
mm,
the speech you're making, that your talk, your presentation, the meeting wouldn't be the same if you didn't
mm,
have them. So that they
mm,
then, instead of it becoming you've created a talk that you're
mm,
terrified to share with people, you've created a certain percentage of the talk and it's
mm,
simply not a complete thing. It's like you need the ingredient that is the audience for you to finish the recipe, you see?
mm.
And then all
I
of a
see.
sudden it becomes an exciting prospect to finally meet the audience so that you can finally complete this thing that you could
Mm,
never have accomplished without the audience participating with you. Whether
mm,
that's a team meeting of 5 people or whether it's like 500 people at a keynote.
mm. That can be a missing piece if we don't have the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Diva, would you like to do a speech with acting techniques in around 2 to 3 minutes in order to help us understand how you can apply acting into public speaking? Would you like to?
A speech.
Yeah,
Um,
any kind of speech that you apply acting techniques in order to perform that speech. Or we can collaborate with each other if you want.
yeah, it's, it's kind of because an exercise I do with my clients, you see, is that they pick a piece of text, and it can
Uh,
literally be anything. It could be a magazine article, it could be something
mm,
from a play or a poem, it could be something they've written themselves.
mm,
And we go through and we dissect how an actor would look at it. So you can sort of do it with anything, but there are kind of
Actually, I study acting as well. I do.
oh, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah, I do
Um,
study acting. And one of the exercises that our teacher usually tell us is we will look at the other person and we convey a message without saying anything.
yeah,
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 yeah.
that sounds like
So,
a very
for
command.
example, that if I would like to tell you many great things about yourself, I just use my eyes, my face to convey that message. And you feel that on my face. That is the way for us to practice our acting skills.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Um,
Yeah.
when it comes to speech, I feel like I can think of maybe a quick exercise that doesn't
Sure, sure.
require any kind of particular thing because you can do it with
Mm,
any text, which is that um, you can take, say, a speech you're about to make or a presentation you're about to give, and take
mm,
a chunk of text and take all of the words and write, tear up little bits of paper and write each word on a piece of paper. And
yeah.
then you lie on the floor, you take a piece of paper, you read the word, you just sit with the word for a bit, or you lie down with the word, and then you put it to the side and you pick up the next word. And you should do this with every word, even I mean, obviously using English as an example, it should even be it, it shouldn't just be the quote unquote interesting words. It should be of, at, these other words as well. And the goal is to learn not to take any word for granted, that there are opportunities to be an effective communicator and to be emotionally engaged with every single word you say. And to start off with, it is as slow as that. But as you get more experience, you'll learn when you have a speaking engagement, even if you don't have much notice, you'll learn how to pick up a piece of text and very quickly go, oh, great. And you'll see all of the emotional opportunities in it. You will emotionally connect with the words in an authentic way. And then, yeah, you'll be able to speed up the process. But if you're starting out and you want an exercise that you can do, that's a really good one to do.
If you have any materials that you would like to share with our viewers, you can share with me. Then I will put in the comment section for you. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
I will.
Yeah. I think that Leaphia, would you like to have a final message before that we're gonna end our live stream session tonight?
Just that it's a journey. It's be kind to yourselves, and the more reps you get in, the more practice you get in, the better you'll get incrementally. There's no like magic wand. It's just about patience and not giving up. And also that, I'm my email, I think maybe is on the screen there, but I will give you my details. And I do one-off sessions and courses on Zoom with people all over the world to get their confidence up so that they can increase their career opportunities and that sort of thing. So yeah, if you're interested in that, reach out and I'd be happy to work with you and help you build your public speaking confidence.
Thank you so much. It is our pleasure to have you here, Leaphia. And hello, everyone. We are going to have another live stream session this Saturday with the topic how to build your personal brand. I think that is a very interesting topic for those who would like to understand what is personal brand and how can you build it. And we're gonna conduct that session on this Saturday morning, 9 p.m. on our EIY page. And once again, thank you so much, Leaphia, for joining us tonight. Hello everyone, my name is An and I am the founder of EIY. I'm very glad to have you here. Bye bye.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah.